Obispo.
Where's David
Please
Obispo?
come forward.
Is David still here? You mind filling us?
Come on.
Come on. You know David? Fleur, you know David?
We're the only
No, come. David. David, come on up. Okay.
He's about up. It's covered.
Stand a little closer.
No, he
Light?
said, yeah.
Okay.
The setup.
All except.
Check.
Go for it.
And episode, everyone.
Ooh.
Thank you all for being here tonight to celebrate this special day with us. Your presence truly means the world. A few years ago, when I was studying here at Bethesda Woods, I had a problem extending my visa. A good friend of mine said he knew a guy with protexia, and that guy was Robbie. But he didn't want to help.
What?
A
That's
month
not true.
later,
What are you talking
a
about?
month later, when I was, I asked another friend to call him again, and this time he agreed, and that was how we met. One of the matchmakers today is here today, Harry. Thank you for getting me into this trouble for life. It's not a joke. Later, when we started going out, I told Harry, he said something I'll never forget. He said, Robbie has a good heart and he never leaves anyone behind. And he was right. Robbie, you might be loud, silly, dramatic, full of chutzpah, maybe a little arrogant, just a little. But I always see your kind heart. And that is what matters the most. Now I'd like to share a few things you might not know about Robbie. Robbie is delusional. At home, he pretends there are kids in the room. He says the silliest things like, all right, kids, time for bed. Put on your shoes. We are late for school.
I'm practicing.
I'm working hard. I have to bring bacon home for the children. I look around and there are no kids, just Robbie.
He's a big kid.
Robbie is a hoarder. Our house is basically a museum. I keep telling him that we should call our house the Robbie Berman Museum. Everything in there, him included, is ancient. My mother-in-law always call him a narcissist. I can't agree more. Every day, he stands in front of the mirror, flexes his six-pack, and smiles at himself. But all I see is just one big barrel. He goes to the gym almost every day.
Almost Sunday.
Almost on Sunday, almost on Monday, almost on Tuesday, and you get the idea. Life with Robbie is a new adventure every day, like a roller coaster. Wild, unpredictable, and always exciting. But truly, Robbie, I love you for your energy, your heart, and your spirit. I can't wait to build a life with you and see what kinds of chaos, laughter, and love the future holds. And finally, thank you again all for being here with to be on this journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yun Sang Wang. First of all, I don't really like public verbal displays of affection, so I'm not really going to talk about my feelings for you. I'm just going to say one thing seriously so we get on to the funny stuff, and that is, I knew my father better than anyone in the world, and I know that my father would have been incredibly happy to have you as my wife, and I'm very happy that, yeah. Frank, I love you very much. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't do more than that. That's it. I said it very quickly, and that's it. So thank you, everyone, for coming. I really do appreciate it. A lot of people came very far. Judy Heckling came from New Jersey. I first want to say thanks. You know, I'm 50. I don't know if people know this, but we got married about a year and a half ago in New York. We didn't tell anybody. We got married civilly in City Hall. And the justice of the peace that married us actually was Chinese. And we didn't tell anyone. We got married on April 18th. And the next day we went to visit my mother in Woodmere. We didn't tell her we got married. But April 18th, when we got married, the woman looked at me and said, Robert Berman, do you take Yoon Sung Wong to be your lawfully wedded wife till death to your part? And I seriously looked at her and I paused and I said, that sounds like a long time. And nobody laughed. And then she turned to me and said to me, Robbie, you're 59. It's not really going to be that long. At which point I knew I had to keep her. This is the woman for me. And then we got married halachically about 2 months ago. And the rabbis leaned over and they said, do you want us to marry you? Because every other day that you guys are together, you're like living in sin. But if we marry you now, you're not in sin. So as people know me pretty much, I don't really care about living in sin. But Yoon Sung leaned over to me and she said to me, you know, I think they're offering this to us as a twofer. I said, what do you mean? She said, I think this is for free for the same price of the conversion based, and they're also going to marry us. So like financially, this makes sense. So then I realized that, wow, the conversion really worked. She's now a full-fledged Jew. She's thinking in terms of money. So we got married halachically, and then I didn't really care so much about having a wedding, but Yoon Sung wanted it, and she said she wanted a wedding. And I said, if you want a wedding, Yoon Sung, I will do whatever you want. I will even go so far as to rent out Ulam Ganei Gabay. She says Ulam Ganei Gabay, my friend Gabi and Dina Gabay, it's their garden. You get that, okay. I do want to thank 4 people, But by the way, I think I have a record because we got married civilly at 57. We got married luckily when I was 58. And now in a week, I'm turning 59. So I'm almost 59. So it's really taken me through a 3-year process to get married. So it gives really a whole new meaning to the term, taking your time. But I took my time and okay. I want to thank Stephen Hirsch, who's not here, Chaim Hagler, Naomi Kapp, and Nikki Leifer, who's here. Where's Nikki? There's Nikki. For giving me advice about marriage advice that allowed my mind to switch, like this flip a fuse that allowed me to get married. So thank you very much, Nikki. Round of applause for Nikki and for Chaim Hagler and for Naomi Kapp and for Stephen Hirsch. Being single for these many years was very, very tough. I mean, every Shabbat, you're alone, or you hope you get invited out, or you invite friends over. And then sometimes people don't invite you. If they invite you, they don't really know how to invite you. So they call you up and they say, do you need a meal? I don't need a meal. You call somebody and say, hey, we'd love to have you come over Shabbat. And living in Jerusalem for over 30 years, it was very difficult. And a lot of you people here have had me over for Shabbat, and I really do appreciate it. Really, thank you so much. There are 2 couples that I do want to give a special shout out to, because these couples made an effort to make sure that I was never alone, and they didn't wait for me to call, and they called me, and they said, we'd love to have you over. The first one is Fleur and Adam Chasson. A big round of applause for Fleur and Adam. I've been at their house for like 20 years, literally 20 years. And then the other couple is Boba and Kylie. Boba and Kylie, very close friends of mine. Round of applause. I mean, there were times, I'm not kidding you, even during COVID, when you weren't even allowed to have guests, that Boba went to shul with the kids in an outdoor area during COVID. And then on the way home, he remembered he forgot to call me to see if I was alone. So instead of going home from shul, he brought his kids. Instead of going to their house, he came to my house, knocked on the door, and would find me eating alone and would drag me to their house. So Boba, Ein Kamocha, really, thank you very much. Of course, as you know, I do also, I'm an Israeli citizen and I respect Israeli law. And I felt the necessity, Motzei Shabbat, to call the authorities and report that Boba had illegally invited someone during COVID over his house. I had to do it, Boba, because, you know, I respect the law. So that's what I did. I also want to say that I have a little bit of an issue with Fleur and Adam. And that is, Fleur and Adam, you invited me over your house for like 20 years. You had me over nonstop. And you made me feel at home. You made me feel part of the family. And I sat there with your kids around the Shabbat table, and we had a really nice time, very, you know, energetic, stuff like that. But I have to say, there's one thing that you guys missed, and that is for 20 years, you had me over your house. You treated me like a Ben Abayit. Sat there with your kids, Shabbat meal, but never once did you ever offer me allowance. And, you know, I know Zaki's getting 20 shekel a week. I know, he told me. And so for you not to offer me allowance, so I've made a little Excel sheet here, and I've calculated 20 shekels, compounded weekly, by the way. Where's Joel Merrill is? Compounded weekly, 20 shekel over 20 years. You owe me a lot of money, and I'll be coming to you later to collect that. Yeah. Yoon Song, I don't know where you got that story that at first I didn't want to help. I always want to help people, and I definitely wanted to help. I will tell you that the version of the story I had was that Yoon Song needed help with her visa, and someone put on a Facebook group of tour guides, do you know anyone who's well-connected and has a big mouth and is very pushy? And that's where I came in. So having a big mouth and very pushy came helpful because other than that, I would not have met Yoon Sung. I'm very curious, the people here, I noticed that when I walked in here, a lot of people wished me a mazel tov, but when they went to Yoon Sung, Devora, they didn't wish her a mazel tov. They looked at her, they said, we wish you a lot of mazel. And I want to know what you meant by that, because I'm not really sure what you meant by that. Okay, I think that's about it. Let's see what else I got going here. Oh yeah, when we were trying to think, since we're already luckily married 2 months ago, we were trying to think what we could do. And I said to Yoon Song, why don't we just have a Chinese tea ceremony? And she said, that's a great idea. I said, so I don't know, tell me about it. What is a Chinese tea ceremony? So Yoon Song explained to me. She said a Chinese tea ceremony is when Chinese people make tea, they boil tea leaves, they make tea, they pour the tea into a cup, and then they drink the tea. And I said, and then what happens? She says, well, you know, then they swallow the tea. I said, well, then what happens? She said, well, then they pour themselves some more tea if they want more tea, and then they drink that tea. So I said, basically, a Chinese tea ceremony is basically Chinese people drinking tea. She says, yeah, that's about it.
Very funny.
You like that? I like it. Ever since Yoon Sung converted, people think she just turned into a Jewish person. Well, I actually think she went from being Chinese, and now she's turned into a Jap. What's funny is my mother still can't pronounce Yoon Sung. My mother just a few days ago wished her a mazel tov on the upcoming wedding. She said, Yan Sing, I wish you I said, Mom, it's not Yan Sing, it's Yoon Sung. For Christ's sake, the girl just converted to Judaism. She did a lot for us. Could you just write down her name on a piece of paper? Yoon Sung, like a young song. She says, I can't remember. I said, write it down on a piece of paper. Anyway, before I invite other people to come up, I think Gary Lieber wanted to go first. Is that right, Gary? Where's Gary? Before I invite Gary up, I just want to say one thing. I'm 59. Next week I turn 59. I'm 59 years old. And for all those people out there who suspected and thought that I was gay, Gary Beitler. Come on up, Gary Beitler. Can we get sit down now?
Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
Without ticket.
Thanks.
But that's just the warm-up act for the heavy hitters afterwards. So tonight, we are celebrating a truly remarkable and joyous occasion, Robbie's marriage to Yoon Sung. Everyone, please give another clap.
Thank you so much.
Robbie, tell me this is something I thought I would never be able to say unless I was hallucinating on the Himalayan retreat using Robbie's famous yoga exercise cards.
That's funny. That is very funny.
Our sages teach us that finding your perfect partner is a miracle as great as Kriyat Yam-Suf, as the greatest as the splitting of the Red Sea. The marriage that we are celebrating here today is even a greater miracle. Yoon Sung you have managed to pull off a feat that even Moshe, even Moses could not have accomplished. You got Robbie Berman to commit. And not only to commit, but to commit to something that lasts longer than 6 months. So well done. I don't know what sort of ancient Chinese remedy you used, but Robbie, here is a real business opportunity. You need to bottle it and sell it to Jewish mothers everywhere. It's hard to believe, but I met Robbie over 40 years ago at Yeshivat HaKotel. We were just teenagers, and this was before Robbie was famous or infamous. Robbie was handsome and a slim guy whose appearance, as you can all see today, hasn't changed at all. On other fronts, I think we can all guess that Robbie has undergone a few changes. Back in Yeshivat HaKotel, the rabbi, in his infinite wisdom, thought that Robbie needed a chevruta, someone to learn with, someone who would be a good and stable influence on him. And for some reason, the rabbi thought that I could do the job. Well, 40 years later, I think you can all decide if I succeeded or not. Even in those days, Robbie never chose the straight, ordinary path. If I'm not mistaken, Robbie, it was on your first night in the yeshiva, a regulation stroll to the city centre ended up in a Swedish youth hostel in the city. I remember thinking how sleazy the place was and leaving pretty quickly. I made one little mistake. I left Robbie behind. Now, I don't know what Robbie got up to, but it is quite possible that this event inspired Robbie's love of exploring new places, ideas, and concepts, leading him to becoming a tour guide who would create unique tours in exotic places in Jerusalem. And of course, it was this path that led him to Yonsang. It takes a truly special, some would say courageous person to match Robbie's spirit, his curiosity, and his chaos. Yonsang, you've not only embraced Robbie, but you've embraced his stories, his community, and even his annual appearances at our sukkah. Some people are visited by the Ushpizim, by our leading avot on Sukkot. Our family is always visited by Robbie, and each year Robbie tells stories that he claims are true, and which I can tell you, he leaves my children in awe, they're speechless, and generally traumatized. One year, Robbie decided to share his gender issues with my kids. Don't get too worried, but in the past, Robbie actually claimed to be a woman. Yunzing, don't panic. There's a perfectly Robbie explanation for this. At airport security, Robbie had a choice. Get patted down by a man or a woman. A simple choice. Naturally, he thought, I'd rather be groped by a woman than a man. But the only way to make that happen was to claim he was a woman. Because as we know, for modesty reasons, airports only allow same-sex searches. Security, understandably skeptical, asked for proof. So Robbie, never one to back down from a challenge or an audience, began undressing right there. And somehow, again, this is Robbie's stories, but somehow the authorities took one look and said, yep, that checks out. And Robbie got exactly what he wanted and actually what he deserved. A full body search from a 75-year-old grandmother who was a retired prison guard. I changed the ending a little bit. Robbie's journey has taken on many paths. A stand-up comedian, an author of books on topics ranging from Palestinian expressions to the meaning of Kaddish, and as we all know, he's even been an actor. Somehow, all these skill sets enabled Robbie to be a leading pioneer in the encouragement of organ donations, and in doing so, Robbie genuinely saved many lives. And when it comes to heart donations, Robbie has been trying to dedicate his heart to one special person for many, many years. Yunsang, as you probably know, Robbie took many radical steps to find the love of his life. Initially, Robbie figured that every Jewish girl wants to marry a doctor. But Robbie didn't study medicine. But he did appear, does anyone know as who? as Dr. Massour in a TV series. Unfortunately, not enough of the eligible women in Israel got to see Robbie's very powerful 15-second performance. But then Robbie became more creative. Who remembers seeing Robbie's face and most of his body on large billboards all over the country, smiling innocently while lying on a bed selling mattresses? And subtly letting ladies all over the country know that he was available. And I can tell you I have highly confidential police traffic reports, Robbie.
All right, next speaker. Next speaker.
We're nearly there. Which show, Robbie, that the billboards were up there, that there was a 50% increase in traffic accidents on the Ayalon. People just couldn't take their eyes off Robbie. Whether it was in admiration or horror is another question. But alas, after several months, there were still no takers. Robbie then took the radical step of appearing on a primetime dating show and managed to get dumped by a physically challenged woman. Now, most people get rejected privately, but Robbie turned it into a season-high ratings event on national TV. After all these years, Robbie is still the same Robbie, deeply curious, a little rebellious, deeply compassionate and passionate, always fighting the good cause and astounding us with his latest adventure. Robbie, who I'm very proud to call a lifelong friend, has finally ended his search for a wife. Robbie, the once wandering soul, has found his true anchor. Yunsang is beautiful, elegant, charming, and 38 years old, which is perfect for Robbie, who not only wanted a partner with wisdom, but also someone who would be able to lift his suitcases when they travel together. The truth is, Robbie has always remained young in spirit, and Yunsang, you are clearly Robbie's perfect match. Because in converting to Judaism, or more correctly, Robbie's form of Judaism, you have shown us that you are as adventurous, open-hearted, and confused as he is. Converting is no joke, unless, of course, you are a former stand-up comedian. It involves deep studying and dedication, and after the long and tiresome process, your reward is you get to live with Robbie. The two of you have found a miraculous harmony in this complicated and often hilarious world, and a proof that life conquers all. Conquers age, religion, different cultures, time zones, and even time dimensions. On behalf of Rosie and myself, I wish you both a wonderful life together, filled with joy, purpose, and laughter. Mazal tov, l'chaim, and ganbye.
All right. Yeah, right.
It was very funny. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no dessert for the leaders. No dessert for the leaders.
I know there's a group that want to say. Anyone else want to speak before the group speaks? Anyone else want to go at it? Come on up. Come on up. Oh, Ari, I see you very well.
Slightly with one.
Put this on you. What's with this? You're showing your barrel, like my barrel?
Yeah.
To my dear almost brother, Robbie, and his beautiful wife, Devorah. I also can say
Yunsong.
I like your mother.
But
What can I say? You've taken to a whole new level Sinatra's song, I Did It My Way. Han and I met you for the first time as a stand-up comedian, only to meet you again the next time, years later at the wedding of your dear sister to my brother 25 years ago. I think that was the last time that you spoke to her. It's interesting. You don't speak with most of the people that you were raised with in your same household, yet you have found a way to build bridges with every group of people that hate each other. Palestinians, Neturei Karta, Gush Emunim. You have even hosted the Seder to a very motley group. You're like a one-man UN peacekeeping force with a personality disorder. Born into an Orthodox family and educated throughout in religious schools, you are now a declared atheist. Go figure. You have spent a lifetime running away from what Devora has just walked into and embraced. Sounds like you're back to comedy again. You both chose to pursue an amazing profession of tour guiding at the most opportune time in Israel. COVID and bombs on Ben Gurion Airport. I'm glad that I haven't asked you for any stock tips lately. Life is very ironic. A few years ago, you showed up at our house in Purim dressed as a Chinese person peddling body parts for high prices. Quite original. And now you're selling your body parts to a Chinese person. What a turn of events.
Next, we got another speaker. Next speaker, please.
But it's not all about poking fun. Robbie, you spent 20 years of your life participating in the ultimate... you did that. Did you do that? Hey, you cut off my mic. Oh, man. Works.
You got it?
Yes. No, I like this. I got used to it. You have spent 20 years of your life participating in the ultimate chesed, bringing life to those in dire need. Traveling the world over, speaking over 1,000 times, right?
963.
I rounded up. To convince people to sign up for organ donation and corralling over 300 rabbis to sign on and support. I'm sure that you've started this project thinking they would pick up a nice Jewish girl on one of your speaking tours, but fate would have it that you would have to wait for that nice Jewish girl to come from China. And together, you'll embark on an amazing tour together. Kum v'hitalech ba'aretz. Mazal tov from Chana and myself, l'chaim. And from all of our family, all the kids.
So here's a microphone. Right there. Thank you. That was funny. That was very funny. Very, very funny.
Now, Sophia, no dessert for the Wolf family. The Wolf family, no dessert for Hannah and I will.
Next, who else? What? I always go, that's true. Before the Three Stooges go up, anyone else want to go up? Oh. Four Stooges? Anyone else want to say a few words to a couple of singers? Okay, the Four Stooges, the Three Stooges, come on up.
Woo!
Trouble now, these guys are like,
Oh my God, you have no idea.
sing goodbye.
Oh, wait, I want to put a microphone on one.
Not two mics, huh?
Yeah, I got no mics, but I want it for the
No, for that.
private. All right.
All right.
Do I have another one? Where's the other microphone?
We go two mics.
Oh, yes, Chad.
We're on it.
Okay, everyone. Good evening. Mazal tov to Robbie and Yun-sang, this wonderful, wonderful wedding. We really, yay! We never thought we would get here. That's the truth. We never thought we would get here. But it was worth it just to see Robbie getting married in a skirt. Hand it to Robbie in a skirt. And then you say you weren't gay? Give me a break. Come on. All right. Now, everyone who's here, friends with Robbie, or at least the friends he has left. Because let's not forget the people he has publicly humiliated over the years, offended, outed, and all sorts of other things. If Robbie would have gotten married 20 years ago, he would have actually have had to hire a hall. But here we are, Robbie, in somebody's garden, and we are so pleased that you're here and that you're going to have your own home and that you honestly found the perfect woman for you. So we're very, very happy about that.
You ready?
Okay, now things are going to get brutal, just saying.
So Robbie is a man whose resume reads like a cautionary tale. Failed stand-up comedian, out-of-work tour guide, organ donation advocate, and now groomed to a Chinese bride.
Yeah.
Yes, so a billion people in your country. This is who you pick. Which begs the question, what woman in her right mind actually agrees to marry Rob?
Well, it turns out you have to have been raised in a communist dictatorship with no freedom of speech, because that's the only woman who could marry Robbie.
Hold on. Didn't Robbie also work for Russian Today, the bastion of Putin democracy?
Yes, that's Robbie.
I think it's starting to make sense.
The big liberal heart.
I met Robbie when I interviewed him for a job to run a startup. Needless to say, he didn't get a job. The chick we employed instead has since made billions.
I met Robbie at a break-fast Mozza Yom Kippur dinner at Bob and Kylie's. He was clearly there for free meal, as he had not fasted. He not even stepped foot in shul during the day. This was 20 years ago and nothing has changed.
I also met Robbie at Bobba's house, one of Bobba's strange friends. And then we got to bond together on the tour guide course. Now, of course, neither of us actually work as tour guides. Me, because I have a job. And Robbie, well, sorry, mate.
Sure.
So, we've come to the Robbie Berman boast. Roast, even.
Or in Jungson's case, we were steaming you.
Whoa! Baba, you're on a roll.
Let's leg, Robbie. We all know it's the Chinese year of the snake. Remarkably fitting that after dating Robbie, Jungsong has experience handling long, slippery things the best kept in its book.
Now, we all know Robbie tells us that he's been to Harvard. In fact, a fact he drops on a regular occasion.
Yes.
In fact, we can reveal today it was actually a public lecture in the gift shop.
He gave up being a cleanse, which is weird, seeing as he still acts like he's holier than anyone else.
We know you, Robbie, as a wonderful soul, caring about all downtrodden people of society, and especially about the Palestinians. As such a left-wing activist, it is beautiful and inspiring. See how you stick to your principle. Look at this beautiful lady here, the one that could occupy her.
Exactly.
Indeed, Robbie is passionate about the Palestinian cause. They too have been waiting decades for something that never comes.
Well, it came. I mean, come on.
A young Chinese bride. I see what you're doing. You think you're some kind of East meets West, Talmud meets Tao fusion moment. You've been described this evening as a bridge. Robbie, you're not a bridge. You're just a white privileged old Jew.
After all that effort of Robbie learning Arabic and pissing off every Arab I know with his Ashkenazi self-righteousness, never seen Arabs so quickly switch to English when Robbie opens his mouth.
Also, Robbie doesn't speak, he issues declarations. He's like a walking podcast, no one after the slide.
Robbie Berman, once the beacon of moral clarity in the Jewish world, founder of the Halachic Organs Owner Society, intellectual heavyweight, Harvard-credentialed prophet of ethical urgency.
We asked some of the Hod's rabbis to send a mazel tov, and they wished him with this message. Robbie finally donated his organ.
Robbie has pivoted many careers. An author is one of them. Latest non-bestseller has been described as appealing at a niche audience. In fact, we looked for some Amazon reviews for the book, which we would like to share.
If Orientalism and a thesaurus had a baby and then abandoned it in a used bookstore.
Finally, a book that answers the question, what is Google Translate dropped out of Harvard?
Reads like it was written during a layover in Ramallah with bad Wi-Fi and zero self-awareness.
Yeah.
His sperm count is lower than his book.
It takes a certain kind of confidence, some might say delusion, to write a book in a language that's not your own, on a culture you weren't born into, and then promote it like you're Shimon Peres of world peace. Robbie Berman's Min Tak Tak is that book.
Still, credit where it's due. Min Tak Tak does accomplish something truly impressive. It unites Arabic speakers, linguists, and casual readers in unanimous disbelief. It's not easy to anger everyone across a geopolitical conflict, but Robbie managed to do just that in a hardback. Well, he's really always been ahead of the curve. I mean, who else develops fitness cards in the era of the app and then puts himself as the model for the pinnacle of male fitness, for God's sake? It takes a special type of narcissist, and I'm right there with you, Yun-Sung. You said it better than me, love. So, just to conclude, Robbie's loud, he's opinionated. Every time he comes to my house, I really don't know why he keeps coming back, because we have terrible arguments about politics. But we do love him because he's got a heart of gold. He entertains our kids. He tells us incredible stories. He's really an incredible storyteller. As Gary said, we don't know what's true or what isn't. And we've stopped caring, to be honest. And Robbie, I know you really want me to make you scumbag of the week, sweetheart. But I'm never going to do that. Mazel tov.
Yes, sir. Okay, go. Mazel tov. Sure, quick.
All right. Just for the record, first of all, no one should be offended. I asked them to come up and make a roast of us and make fun of me. I have the skin of a pachyderm. It doesn't bother me. A lot of the things they said is just completely not true. Many things are not true. I'm not going to go through the list. First of all, Gary and I left the Swedish hostel at the same time. I did not stay behind the Swedish hostel. My book, Min Talk Talk, is in its fourth printing. It's a bestseller. So there. In fact, Al Abdul Kun bought the book for his children because they're forgetting their Arabic. So, okay. And many other things are not true, but I appreciate your efforts.
How long ago was the Swedish hostel thing?
When we were 18, like 40 years ago.
How old is Greta Thunberg?
Greta. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming, and everyone here in this room means a lot to me in a different way, and there are a lot of people here that I didn't point out or mention, or some people didn't get honors, but limited, I really do thank you. This is a pivotal moment, and thank you all for coming, and we'll have dessert, and we're having a disco, because I like disco music, and it's my party, so I get that. Well, Yun-Sung likes disco too. We're having disco, so play the disco, go for dessert, have a fun time, knock yourself out. Thank you very much.
I need to bring this back up.
Huh? Ecco, siamo sempre.